Are you joining from India? Okay, we'll get started. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoditau Gaurudaya Pushpavanatau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Aja Anulambita Bhujau Kanakavadato Sankirtanaikapitaro Kamalayatakshaw Brahmapalav Vande Jagat Priyakarav Karunavataro Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for taking out your valuable time to read Sri Caitanya Caritamrita together. Yesterday we read verse 119, chapter 7, Adi Lila, entitled Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Five Features. So we're going to read from text number 120. All these verses, as we see, have pretty extensive purport because these are important. These questions come in the minds of many, many devotees. So whenever Prabhupada is giving a lengthy purport, that means it is Prabhupada is taking time to thoroughly explain those subject, those verses. Whether it's in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see the pattern everywhere. And like any good teacher would do, the concept which is really important, the teacher would spend more time on that, right? So without further delay, let's read text 120. Hina jiva tatva lana likhi para tatva achana korila shrishta ishvara mahatva. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jagadguru, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Mayavad philosophy is so degraded that it has taken the insignificant living entities to be the Lord, the supreme truth, thus covering the glory and the supremacy of the absolute truth with monism. Let's read. Hena Jiva Tattva Lana Likhi Paratattva Achanna Korila Shreshta Ishvara Mahatva. So what's the verse? The Mayavadi philosophy is so degraded. Hena, tuchha, hina, hina. That it has taken the insignificant living entities to be the Lord. Basically, we are all one. Jiva and God are one. Thus covering the glory, right? Channa, covering the glory of whom? Shreshta Ishvara. Ishvara is Shreshta. So let's read the purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur comments in this connection that in all the Vedic scriptures, the Jiva, Tattva, the truth of the living entities is mentioned to be one of the energies of the Lord. We read multiple verses in this connection in the last few verses. If one does not accept the living entity to be a minute, infinitesimal spark of the Supreme, but equates the Jiva Tattva with the Supreme Brahman or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it must be understood that his entire philosophy is based on a misunderstanding. Hare Krishna. Very, very important point. That the entire philosophy, if someone is saying that the God is, or I'll become God, or I am God, or God is equal to Jiva, there's a big, big, big misunderstanding. Unfortunately, Shankaracharya purposely claimed the Jiva Tattva or the living entities to be equal to the Supreme God. Therefore, his entire philosophy is based on a misunderstanding, and it misguides people to become atheists, whose mission in life is unfulfilled. The mission of human life, as described in the Bhagavad Gita, is to surrender unto the Supreme Lord and become his devotee. Manmana bhavamad bhakto, become my devotee. Krishna says twice in the Bhagavad Gita. That is the goal of life. Sometimes we feel, oh, what is the purpose? What is the goal of life? This is the goal, to become Krishna's devotee, to become a pure devotee of the Lord. That's our purpose, that's our goal, and to share with others as much as possible. But the Mayavadi philosophy misleads one to define the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and pose oneself as the Supreme Lord. Bhagwan ko chodo, main hu na, I am God, right? So people, that's Mayavadi philosophy. Or I'll become God, or I am as good as God. That's all. Thus, it has misguided hundreds of thousands of innocent men or people, because it sounds very nice. Oh, you'll become God. Oh, we'll make you God. Oh, we are as good as God. Oh, I can become God, right? Like if in this day and age, someone says, hey, I'll make you a millionaire. Really? Oh, I want to know, right? So if someone tells us, hey, I will make you God, then innocent people will be following that person. Oh, he's going to make me God. He gave me huge promises, right? Cheaters and cheated. In the Vedanta Sutra, Vyasadeva has described that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is potent and that everything, material or spiritual, is but an emanation of his energy. We have discussed this in the last few verses. Inferior and spiritual energy, material or spiritual energy is emanation. He is Purna Shaktiman. The Lord, the Supreme Brahman, is the origin of the source of everything. Janmadi asya yataha. And all other manifestations are emanations of different energies of the Lord. This is also confirmed in the Vishnu Purana. Ekadashesh sthitasyangir jyotsna vistarini yatha parasya brahmana shaktis yathedam akhilam jagat. Whatever we see in the world is simply an expansion of different energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is exactly like a fire that spreads illumination for a long distance, although it is situated in one place. Right? If we see a big fire, huge fire, it may be very far, but still we'll feel light, we'll feel the illumination. This is a very vivid example. Similarly, it is stated that just as everything in the material world exists in the sunshine, which is the energy of the sun. So everything exists on the basis of the spiritual and material energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, although Krishna is situated in his own abode, Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhutau, where he enjoys his transcendental pastimes with the cowherd boys and the gopis, he is nevertheless present everywhere, even within the atoms of the universe. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. This is the verdict of the Vedic literature. So, yes, Krishna is present in Goloka Vrindavan, Goloka Eva Nivasati. But in the same Brahma Samhita, it's also mentioned he is present in every atom. So, in short, he is present, yet he does not lose his identity. For example, in material world, if someone has $1,000, someone gives $10 here, 20 here, 50 here, 100 here, and finally he'll have zero. But the Supreme Lord, although he has infinite expansions, infinite energies, yet he does not lose, it's because it's infinite, right? So he does not lose that, okay, like it's like a millionaire who has given up all his wealth to charity and then finally he'll have left zero. So it's not the same analogy, cannot be applied to the Supreme Lord. So ultimately, whether material or spiritual, anything we see, स्थावर देखी, स्थावर स्थावर जंगम देखी न देखी तारा मूर्ति, सर्वत्र होय इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. Sarvatra hoye isht. Sthavar means stationary. Jangam means those who can move. Animate, inanimate. Living, non-living. So a devotee sees the hand of God in every aspect, whether the sun, the moon, the food, the vegetables, the table, the chair, right? And of course the jiva, right? Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavihastini. So he sees the spirit soul. He sees that Krishna is present in everyone's heart, in every place, in every atom. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati, tasyaham na pranishyami, sa cha me na pranashyati. One who sees me everywhere and everything in me, I'm never lost to that person. Bhagavad Gita 6.30, Krishna says. Very important verse. So many verses in Gita, Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, Vedanta Sutra, etc., are basically re-emphasizing the same point that Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This course, the source of all sources, the cause of all causes, the Shaktiman behind all the Shaktis. So we read this part. Now we are going to read the rest of the purport. Anyone would like to read who didn't get chance maybe yesterday? Can try.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Great, please. From here.
Unfortunately, the Mayavada philosophy misguiding people by claiming the living entity to be the Lord has created havoc throughout the entire world and led almost everyone to godlessness. By thus covering the glories of the Supreme Lord, the Mayavadi philosophers have done the greatest disservice to human society. It is to contract these most abominable activities of the Mayavadi philosophers that Lord Chaitanya has introduced the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Namaiva Kevalam Kalua Naste Iva Gatir Annatha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. People should simply engage in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, for thus they will gradually come to understand that they are not the Supreme Personality of Godhead as they have been taught by the Mayavadi philosophers, but there are eternal servants of the Lord. As soon as one engages himself in the transcendental service of the Lord, he becomes free. Mam kayo yava ya vikarena vakti yogena savate sa guna samartrityan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. One who engaged in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances at once, transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. BG 14.26. Therefore, the Hare Krishna movement or Krishna consciousness movement is the only light for the foolish living entities who thinks either that there is no God or that if God exists, he is formless and they themselves are also God. These misconceptions are very dangerous, and the only way to counter them is to spread the Hare Krishna movement. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading this section. So what is Prabhupada saying here? That Mayavadi philosophers are doing great disservice. If you can't speak good about someone, then don't speak bad. If you can't speak good about God or the right understanding, then at least stay quiet. But it's so unfortunate that, I shared this example, like if you ask someone, hey, can you change the engine injection valve in my car? It's broken. What will most people say? Sorry, I don't know. I don't know car, automobile stuff. I can't do. You go to the mechanic. Someone says, hey, I am having a tumor in my left arm. Can you remove it? I say, oh, Baba, I am not a doctor. I can't do all these procedures and surgery. You go to the expert surgeon, they will do it. Right? We don't know about a tiny car. We don't know about this body, a tiny limb of the body. But if you ask someone, hey, can you tell me about God? No one is going to say, I don't know. Someone will say, I think we are all God. I think there's no God. I think we'll all become God. I think my dog, I see my God in dog. I see my wife as God. I see this table. God is everywhere. God is love. God is light. God is blue. God is black. God is here. She is God. He is God. Everyone is God. Or we all become God. So pura khichdi hodgepodge. No one will say, Baba, sorry, I don't know. Please ask some learned Vaishnava. We are ready to comment about the absolute truth with zero knowledge. And and unfortunately, the Mayavadi philosophers who claim to be very knowledgeable and try to understand God through speculative knowledge, they they are doing big disservice. Why? Because they are they are spreading about the false identification of I and Jiva and Ishvara. These are the out of the five main subjects, two are who am I, who is Ishvara, who is who am I, Jiva and Ishvara. And that's what Mayavadi philosophers, they both kind of do disservice by sharing wrong ideas or wrong understanding that I am God or I'll become God or 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 God is just either God does not exist or he is imperson, not a person. Both are incorrect. So let's do maybe a summary, like the Mayavadi understanding and the Vaishnava understanding. And all of you can share maybe 1 point each. So we'll make a table about the Mayavadi understanding and the impersonal understanding. Because this point is coming so many times, I would like everyone to be kind of be aware, very aware of this topic. And when we write something, when we churn something, it just helps us to get a deeper understanding of that concept. So, oh, I didn't mean to share that. Okay. So, what do the Mayavadis say? And what do the Bhakta or personalist say? So, what do they say about I or Jiva? What's the answer? And we're making a table, like a tabular. Who would like to share? Everyone?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna,
Master.
Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam, Prabhu. I think the title itself has the first point, right? For Jiva, it's only one, and that is me. I mean, the self, basically. Jiva is the supreme, basically. That's what I think, Prabhuji.
Okay. So basically, you're saying Jiva is God.
Yeah, the supreme
Right?
God. Yeah.
Or monotheism, like oneness.
Yeah. Oneness,
Complete
correct.
oneness. Or what else they say? Jiva will become God. That's also okay. Right now, maybe he's not, but he'll become God soon. When? When do they say Dandadharina? After taking sannyas. Nar Narayan ho jayega. Okay. What about here on the devotee understanding? Personalist, bhaktas.
Servant of the servant of God.
Yes. Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. Nitya Das. Eternal servant. Not just temporary servant. Eternal servant. Right? Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva also can be talked about here. Okay. So how do they approach? What is their okay, let's talk about what do they say about God?
God has no form, formless.
God is formless, right? Or Brahma Jyoti, right? Or we can say, or sometimes they may say no God, right? All different. What about the Bhakta?
Bhakta is Satchidananda Vigraha. God is Satchid
Yes.
Anand.
Personal form, especially two-handed form. Of course, other Nrsimhadev or Vamandev, etc. They're also, but a devotee relishes more Govinda, Shama Sundara, Madhu, Madana, Mohana, etc. Personal names. Two-handed form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, very nice. I think these are important points. So, yeah, so in short, yes,
Suppose
yes,
I want to add the biggest mistake the Mayavadi does, that when God appears in the material world, they think God comes under the Maya. He's under the Maya. And his body is also like us. But God cannot always is spiritual with Satchidananda.
very nice. Is a product of Maya or product of illusion. And over here we see he is the controller of all Shaktis, including Maya. Very nice point. Where were we? Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Mayavadi, they do believe in God, because that's what he was directed, because he actually refuted the idea of atheism. Like Buddhadev, he proposed the atheism. You remember, we read it in, and Prabhupada said that that's why he was instructed to give but they want to merge with God. They are similar to God. That's what he propagated.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you for sharing. I was hearing a nice class about by His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. He mentioned about 4 types of atheists. Actually, these are also atheists because ultimately, if you say, like, if I say I and president are the same, basically I'm denying his position. If the president of the country or the prime minister, he said, no, 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 no. Can you hear me? Sorry, my connection froze or something happened.
Prabhu, if you kindly tell again, please, because
Yeah.
I think, please.
Yeah, I think there is like some are like active atheists, some are passive atheists, and some are transcendental atheist. And one more category was there. So active atheists saying, hey, no God, no God. Don't talk about God. Some are passive atheists. They're saying, no, no, God is there, but I'll also become God. They're basically saying, oh, like let's say the prime minister of the country. No, no, prime minister, just an ordinary man. I can also become prime minister tomorrow. What's the big deal? Like, such a noble person is like negating his glories and bringing down to the common man level. That he and I are same. Passive atheism. And so ultimately they're concluding to atheism only. Right? Saying I and God are same or they will become one, that means there is no God. We are on the same level. Then transcendental atheist. This is very, very erudite or very not erudite but intricate. Actually, transcendental atheist is not the right word, but they are covered by Yoga Maya. They don't believe God as God like Yashoda Mata. He says, oh, he's my son. He's not God. I'm feeding him milk. I'm, caring for him. He's not God. He's my little Kana. So they don't believe in God as God, but they're not atheistic people. This is like just a word to help us understand. They are pure devotees, that their love is so strong that they have crossed the limit of God as supreme caretaker, protector, help me, pray, my prayers, answer my prayers. They God becomes their servant. So I really like how he contrasted these 4 categories. So thank you for sharing that point.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing this.
So in short, we have to be careful with Mayavadi. Mayavadi bhasha sunye hoya sarvanash. We have to be very careful. Otherwise, we will not be able to flourish in bhakti. Very simple. And as we see here, we have to there, and we have also that other impersonalist, how they approach through jnana, and devotees approach through bhakti. Okay. Any other comments, thoughts, questions anyone has? We'll pause a little early today, but we can take one or comment or question. Anyone has a comment? Is it like
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
digestible or is it too complex? Yes, Mataji.
I had a comment. I don't know if we had already covered, but I just remembered that Srila Prabhupada said that
Yes, please.
the Mayavadis negate the world, but the Bhaktas dovetail the world towards Krishna. They see Krishna in the world instead of negating the world.
Beautiful point. Beautiful point you shared, Mataji. Thank you. What is the famous, this is talked about in the 4 types of renunciation, right? Anyone recalls the 4 types of renunciation? Okay, I quickly opened up. Or 4 types of vairagya. First is Markat vairagya, monkey renunciation. Outside, he may be eating just some simple roots, shoots, fruits, berries, but he is busy in bhoga multiple times, or thinking about bhoga multiple times, right? So, just eating root shoots, but thinking, where is the mind? Where is the monkey mind? It's absorbed in sense gratification. So, external show off, monkey. Then next is Shamshan Vairagya. Shamshan Vairagi. Someone dies. Oh, such a noble person. He was healthy, not very old also. Life is short. I think I should just focus on my bhakti, focus on the real truth in life. When some loss of a dear one happens, or friend, relative, uncle, aunt, after 2 days, comes back home, Netflix, alcohol, this, that, disco, casino, back to square. So 1 or 2, sometimes few hours, sometimes few days, sometimes few weeks, back to square. Shamshan Vairagya, right? He's talking big philosophy at the cremation ground. Oh, life is short, right? It can happen to anyone. Falgu Vairagya, this is the Mayavadi style. Rejecting, no. Don't bring money, right? Don't do this, don't speak, don't do anything, don't use the car, don't do anything after all. So negating everything, as Mataji said. No, our purpose is not to negate, because it's Krishna's energy. Krishna has, everything is made up of earth, water, fire, ether. So it's Krishna's energy. So the best and the recommended is Yukta Vairagya, the 4th. Knowing that everything belongs to the Lord and trying to engage in the service of the Lord, whether it's a car, whether it's the phone, whether it's job, intelligence, resources, tan, man, dhan, everything can be engaged. Our body, our mind, our heart, our soul, our income. I'll share a quick slide again. Okay, let's see this 4 types of renunciation. We covered that, and there's a verse. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharamha uppayunjitaha nirbandha krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagya uchyate prapanchatika buddhya hari sambandha vishvastunaha mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgo uchyate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna. Very important, not attached, but accepts in relation to Krishna. One is rightly situated above possessiveness. So it's above possessiveness. So it's not for me. It's a service for Krishna. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not as complete in it. It's falagu. It's so-called renunciate. Mithyachara, basically. Okay. Thank you, Shri Mataji, for sharing that point. Anything else before we pause for today? Shri Ruby Mataji, yes.
Sorry, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, then pranam. So Prabhuji, another thing, Mayavadi always told that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. like material world means the material world is not real, but it is real, but it means the devotees says like devotees understanding is material world is real, but it is temporary. But the Mayavadi understanding is it Brahma Satya, but the material world is false. It is not exist. It does not exist.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that contrasting point. Very nice. So true. I think this is very good. When we read something, we try to comprehend and list out some notes or in whatever way. And that's what Gauranga Darshan Prabhu also, what he basically, if you see the Subodhini, what is Subodhini? It's basically a condensed study guide. Right? So this is very helpful. So sharing, recollecting, these are different stages of Shravanam actually. So thank you everyone for sharing your thoughtful comments. So we'll pause here. Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Chaptitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Thank you, Hari Bol, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Bol. To you.